I've decided that I will not introduce myself. No, Jack's not going to introduce me. Jack's going to help me. Jack said, I'll introduce you. I would like to begin my presentation with just telling you how proud and privileged I feel of being with you. I've seen your children. I spend so much time with your children. If you knew how much they loved you, you would be weeping day and night. Sometimes they don't show it. Sometimes you don't show it, but we know that the love is there. To give my presentation some context, I would like for you to read along with Jack Gilbo, who will read to you the message that the youth have been sent, the most recent of the many messages that the youth have been sent by the Universal House of Justice. And after that, I will try to pull together a few thoughts to help us close our conference. Jack.
Aloha, friends. The Universal House of Justice, to the Baha'i youth of the world, dear Baha'i friends, we extend our loving greetings and best wishes to all who meet in youth conferences yet to be held during International Youth Year. So eager and resourceful have been the responses of the Baha'i youth in many countries to the challenge of this special year that we are moved to expressions of delight and high hope. We applaud those youth who, in respect to this period, have already engaged in some activity within their national and local communities or in collaboration with their peers in other countries, and call upon them to persevere in their unyielding efforts to acquire spiritual qualities and useful qualifications. For if they do so, the influence of their high-minded motivations will exert itself upon world developments conducive to a productive, progressive, and peaceful future. May the youth activities begun this year be a fitting prelude to an ongoing, significant feature throughout the International Year of Peace, 1986. The present requirements of a faith whose responsibilities rapidly increase in relation to its rise from obscurity impose an inescapable duty on the youth to ensure that their lives reflect to a marked degree the transforming power of the new revelation they have embraced. Otherwise, by what example are the claims of Baha'u'llah to be judged? How is his healing message to be acknowledged by a skeptical humanity if it produces not noticeable effects upon the young, who are seen to be among the most energetic, the most pliable, and promising elements in any society? The dark horizon faced by a world which has failed to recognize the promised one, the source of its salvation, accurately affects the outlook of the younger generations. Their distressing lack of hope and their indulgence in desperate but futile and even dangerous solutions make a direct claim on the remedial attention of Baha'i youth, who, through their knowledge of that source of the bright vision with which they have thus been endowed, cannot hesitate to impart to their despairing fellow youth the retroactive joy, the constructive hope, the radiant assurances of Baha'u'llah's stupendous revelation. The words, the deeds, the attitudes, the lack of prejudice, the nobility of character, the high sense of service to others, in a word, these qualities and actions which distinguish a Baha'i must unfailingly characterize their inner life and outer behavior and their interactions with friend or foe. Rejecting the low sight of mediocrity, let them scale the ascending heights of excellence in all they aspire to do. May they resolve to elevate the very atmosphere in which they move, whether it be in schoolrooms or halls of higher learning, in their work, their recreation, their Baha'i activities, or social service. Indeed, let them welcome with confidence the challenges awaiting them. Imbued with this excellence and a corresponding humility, with tenacity and a loving servitude, today's youth must move towards the ranks of the professions, trades, arts, and crafts which are necessary to further progress of humankind. This to ensure that the spirit of the cause will cast its illumination on all these important areas of human endeavor. Moreover, while aiming at mastering the unifying concepts and swiftly advancing technologies of this era of communication, they must also guarantee the transmittal to the future of these skills which will preserve the marvelous, indispensable achievements of the past. The transformations which is to occur in the functioning of society will certainly depend to a great extent on the effectiveness of the preparation the youth make for the world they will inherit. We commend these thoughts to your private contemplation and to consultation you conduct about your future. And we offer the assurance of our prayerful remembrance of you, our trust and confidence. The Universal House of Justice.
If you're looking for something to talk to your children about, consult with them about this message. You have it, please take it with you and use it. Now, friends, you've heard a lot of talks. As I told you at the beginning, I'm your friend. I'm not going to give you the kind of a talk that I would give to a normal audience. You're my friends. And friends, what my talk lacks in depth, I will make up for it in length. No, I'm kidding. No, as a matter of fact, friends, I will not bore you with a long talk because I am very capable of boring you with a short talk. Why waste the time? Today I get on a plane, I go to Greenacre, and I see my family who I haven't seen in a long time. And I remember last year at Greenacre, my daughter, who was 4, Abby True Harris, she was so excited that she had learned a prayer. And in her enthusiasm, she learned it so quickly. It's the prayer that God is sufficient unto me. You know that prayer. She insisted, because she is 4, that the prayer was, God is a fish unto me. You try to explain to a 4-year-old what sufficient means. A fish has much more relating power. So on our way back from Greenacre on the road, she just kept saying, God is a fish unto me. And in Mystic Seaport, Connecticut, we stopped and we took the kids to the aquarium. And they have the dolphins, the wonderful dolphin show. You know, they jump and leap. And she was so excited. She said, Daddy, there it is. And I was saying, oh, the fish, you know. I said, the fish? She said, no. This is the great porpoise. Reveal unto them thy great porpoise. And I found that I could not explain to her what a purpose was either. She's teaching her brother prayers. Her brother, Casey Collins Harris, who is 2.5 years old. Whenever Casey does what 2.5-year-olds do to their 5-year-old sisters, she teaches them a very short prayer. Oh, my God. And Casey runs around the house. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But friends, I pray every day that my little children will become good, strong, and active Baha'is. And you have prayed for that too. And I am so envious of you because your prayers have been answered. You have raised your children to love Baha'u'llah, and they want to take that love to humanity. Don't think that your prayers have not been answered. Down the street, they are doing magnificent things. The youth have affected this conference so much. Last night, the janitor at Mershawn Hall became a Baha'i. Friends, this man went to the podium. He said to everyone at the podium, this is the janitor, he said, would you all please stand? My God, already he's an MC. He's been a Baha'i. Would you all please close your eyes? And everyone closed their eyes. And he said, would you all please say a little prayer that my spiritual development will bring me closer to Baha'u'llah? This is what this youth movement can do. And because I spend so much time with your children, and because I love you all so very much, please forgive me, because I have some advice to give you. It's only 5 things, I promise. The first thing is to please try to understand the feeling that they have of urgency. They believe the house of justice when they are told that time is short. We must study the messages to the youth, realize that the time is short, and capture ourselves the vision that they have gotten. The promise that the house of justice gave them, that it is youth that can move the world. They believe the house of justice, and by God, they are going to move the world. That's 1. Number 2, try to understand their feeling for martyrdom, what it means. They are connected to martyrdom in this generation. When an auxiliary board member in Iran was murdered, I can't tell you how that affected me. And when these girls of Shiraz, these angels, these teenagers were hanged, this connected your teenagers to them and to martyrdom. This connection is very strong. And what makes them connect to this youth martyrdom is that they know that young people do not give their lives for nothing. No martyr has ever given their life. No young girl has ever gone willingly to their death so that there would be a TV show, so that there would be a radio interview, so that there would be a story in the New York Times. No young girl goes to her execution and kisses the hangman's noose and gives her life to Baha'u'llah so that someone will make a video about her. Believe me, friends, this is not the reason for martyrdom. These girls gave their lives so that the world would move closer to peace, move closer to justice, and move closer to Baha'u'llah. And God said that it is the youth who are connected with these martyrs who can move the world closer to Baha'u'llah. And this is what martyrdom means to them, this strong, real connection. Number 3, your youth, your children, I'm with them all the time. They want to be close to you. They want to have a friendship and a very intimate relationship with you. I promise you this. And I know that you desire that too. Friends, if you want to come closer to your children, send them away into the field of service to the cause. This will bring your heart and theirs as one heart. It will also bring you, I promise you, happiness for eternity. Number 4, please understand what they fear the most. What they fear the most is that while their fellow youth in Iran are giving their lives to change the world, they fear that their lives will be wasted. They want their lives to count for something. They know how easy it is not to do something, and they don't want any part of it. They do not want to sit by They don't want to let opportunities pass by. They hear you talk about how you dreamed of pioneering. They heard you talk about how you had these dreams that you couldn't do to teach the faith, to serve the cause. Friends, we should help them to do the things that in our hearts we desire we could do, but we have not done. Let us show them that we know what their fear is, and that we will help them so that they will not waste their lives. Number 5. This is especially to the Persian friends who I love so very much in my heart. Many times I wish that I was Persian. Not just for the food, believe me. Baha'u'llah himself has picked you up out of Iran, and he has brought you to the United States. He did not bring you here for you to be sad. He did not bring you here for you to despair. He brought you here to teach. My strong feeling is that you are here to teach the American Baha'is the reality of the faith. It is possible that Americans can become spiritual, and that they will gain a deeper understanding of the things that you in your Baha'i community know so well. The importance of prayer, the importance of hospitality, the importance of reverence, the importance of obedience and firmness in the covenant. And the reason that I know that this is possible for an American to do this is a very personal and meaningful story to me. When our beloved hand of the cause, Mr. Faizi, was living here in Ohio, I was lucky to be the board member in Ohio, and I was able to visit with him, probably too much. And one night I said, Mr. Faizi, here you are in the United States. He was ill. His doctor was here. I said, you're away from the Holy Land. You're away from all the things that you've had for so long. What is it that you miss the most? And I figured he'd say, well, I miss the pilgrims. Well, I miss being at the shrines. I miss the House of Justice. He said, what I miss the most is Paul Haney, the hand of the cause of God. He said, I have been with that man for so long, and if there is a Baha'i in the world, it is Paul Haney. He said to me, you know, when Abdu'l-Baha was in Washington, Paul Haney was a little boy, and you know the master would give his name to each child. This one would be one name, this would be one name. The name that he gave to Paul Haney was the name of Abdu'l-Baha. Mr. Faizi said, Paul will never tell you this, but this man had affected Mr. Faizi's life to such an extent that I felt something as an American, that it is possible for us to do something for you Persian friends, but only if you help us understand the things that you know so well. Please do not give up on us. We want to be Baha'is too. Help us very much as you can. Now, friends, in closing, I have to tell you that the days ahead are difficult. They're very hard. Because it's hard for you to decide to send your children to the field of service, to the field of pioneering, to travel teaching, to development projects to 1 or 2 years. It's hard to sacrifice our lifestyle of comfort and safety. But friends, we know that it should be hard. We know that if we are the spiritual descendants of the Dawnbreakers, we inherit not only their glory, but we inherit their suffering as well. And if we really believe that their blood is in our veins, then we must want it to be hard. Don't want it to be easy. We should want it to be so hard so that when we go to the Abha kingdom, we are not embarrassed. That when we meet the mother of Ashraf, we won't say, I'm so sorry that you had to give your son. It was easy for us. Do we want to say that? Our teenagers do not want to go to the Abha kingdom and say, I'm sorry, my dear friends from Shiraz, that your life was cut off in your teens. We had it easy. They want it hard too. And friends, if you want to help them change the world, realize that it is hard for all of the lovers of Baha'u'llah. to serve Him. If we leave this conference with reasons of why we can't do something, maybe in your mind right now, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't. We say this too much, I can't, and we can think of 1,000 reasons not to do something. I can't. Bill Sears says we need a good, swift kick in the can'ts. That's what we need. What I'm asking, friends, is that we not leave this conference with our mind filled with can'ts. I'm asking that we leave this conference with our hearts open, and that trusting in Baha'u'llah that He knows what is in our hearts, and that He knows what is our heart's desire. And Baha'u'llah surely will confirm us, and Baha'u'llah will certainly assist us to realize our heart's desire. We should beg from Baha'u'llah that we have the strength to give not only our hearts to Baha'u'llah, not only our lives to Baha'u'llah, but that we have the strength and the heart's desire to give our children to Baha'u'llah so that He can use them to change this world. And if you want this, listen to these words of Abdu'l-Baha, because it tells us of the great bounty of God as He answers for us our heart's desire. Beg everything thou desirest from Baha'u'llah. If thou art asking faith, ask of Him. If thou art yearning for knowledge, He will grant it thee. If thou art looking and longing for the love of God, He will bestow it unto thee. He will descend upon thee all of His blessings. There are 3,000 blessings down the street. He has bestowed them on us, and now it is time that they return to God and serve this cause. And I know that it is your heart's desire to help them so very much. Thank you very much.